So, one of the first questions that was sort of posed to us in the discussion was, given the recent political environment, how have memes and viral content shaped how we perceive political and governing figures? I think this has been a really huge part of how we perceive a lot of our nations, especially national figures. So I really can't think of a better example of this, of a meme shaping a political figure than Joe Biden. Honestly, throughout most of his time as vice president, his major public moments were sort of seen through a meme filter almost. There were really famous memes of him at one of the presidential inaugurations next to Beyonce and President Obama, sort of making fun of sort of his hand gestures, interactions with the two of them. And then, of course, when his term was up as vice president and as Obama's was up as president, there were a flood of memes that featured both him and the president as they left the White House. And so another question sort of talked about how do memes sort of show the feelings and reactions of the public. And this was a great example. So these memes of Obama and Biden as they were leaving the White House were a way that many people expressed their frustration and sadness that Obama and Biden were being replaced in the White House by an administration that many people did not support or did not like. And so the memes were sort of their way of sort of poking fun at it, and as the same way voicing their sadness about it all. And also, these memes of Joe Biden really shaped our viewpoint of how history will remember him. A lot of them were very funny, lovable, sort of portrayed him as kind of a little bit simpler than he is in real life, maybe a little bit dumber, kind of just sort of toning him down a little bit. However, it was really important to sort of how it shaped how the country viewed the relationship between the president and vice president. In history, there's been many examples of relationships between president and vice president that are very tenuous. The vice presidency is kind of one of those thankless jobs where you don't necessarily have a lot of power vested in the position itself, and it sort of depends on the relationship with the president to determine how much influence the vice president has. And I think that we've seen through these memes, interactions between Obama and Biden have sort of turned into a real political strength for Biden. People fell in love with their bromance and their relationship, and it also allowed Biden to take a sort of a point person approach to many of President Obama's initiatives, such as the cancer moonshot he listed in one of his State of the Union's address he left in charge of Biden, as well as Biden, sort of towards the end of his term, began a sexual assault prevention initiative. And so these were both instances of Biden really being able to take the point because he was a very popular figure in the administration. So it would have really been interesting to wonder if he would have been given such a public role as vice president, been given such power and really a public face of the Obama administrations if it hadn't been for the memes turning him into such a lovable figure. And we've also seen, outside of the political environment, memes have played a huge role in sports culture. So we saw how Biden was sort of shaped by his memes and sort of his presence online. And so this has also sort of happened with Tony Romo. And so there have been memes featuring him all the time, sort of playing off of his unlucky nature as a player, or his injury proneness and his somewhat apparent predisposition to losing. This, I believe, has affected his reputation as a quarterback, and many people overlook how talented he is, but in his career due to these memes that sort of play him off this way. Just recently, after Mississippi State beat UConn women's team, Dak Prescott was in the crowd, and so there was sort of a meme playing off of how Dak Prescott was at a game supporting a winning team. Meanwhile, there was pictures comparing Tony Romo at the Duke game wearing a Duke shirt and Duke losing to UNC that game. So that was just sort of another example of how memes sort of shape the perception of someone and really altered how the population looks at them.